All right, everyone, buckle up, because today we are taking a deep dive into something truly wild. We're talking rats, driving cars, you heard that right? Get ready to have your minds blown as we explore the world of rodent-operated vehicles. I am so excited to dive into this with you, expert speaker.
Oh, I'm ready. This is going to be fun.
So first things first, paint me a picture. What do we mean by rats driving cars?
Okay, so picture this. A rat, not in a sewer or a maze, but in a tiny car. Researchers have actually designed these little vehicles called rodent-operated vehicles, or ROVs for short.
ROVs, I love it. So we're not talking about your average remote control car here, are we?
Nope, not even close. Imagine like a plastic container, the kind you'd use for food storage, but mounted on top of a small robot car chassis.
Okay, so far so good. But how does a rat even grip a steering wheel?
You're giving them too much credit, haha. No steering wheel or gas pedals here. It's much simpler than that, actually.
All right, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Inside the container, they have these copper bars, and the floor is made of aluminum. When the rat touches a copper bar to the floor, it completes an electrical circuit.
Wait, hold on. Are you telling me these rats are basically turning themselves into furry little batteries to power their cars?
Pretty much, yeah. And that's how they steer. Touching one bar powers the motor on that side, turning the ROV. The other bar controls the other side.
That is brilliant. So much simpler than trying to give them driving lessons with tiny steering wheels. But were they any good at it?
Let's just say they wouldn't be winning any Formula One races, but they were surprisingly good. These rats learned to drive their ROVs forward up to 110 centimeters.
Seriously, that's over a meter.
Yep, and it gets even better. They even figured out how to navigate different environments with different start and reward locations.
Are we talking miniature parking lots? Tiny garages? Okay, I'm picturing these rats pulling into a drive-thru in their little ROVs, ordering a pizza.
Well, maybe not pizza, but the researchers did use tasty treats as motivation. But you're not far off with the idea of a challenge. They did switch things up to see how the rats would adapt. And adapt they did. The research showed these little guys were able to learn different steering patterns, effectively turning left and right to reach their reward.
This is incredible. Who knew that something as simple as a plastic tub on wheels and some tasty treats could unlock this hidden talent in rats? It's like we've discovered a whole new species of furry little drivers out there. But it gets even better, right? The researchers didn't just stop at teaching them to drive straight ahead. They wanted to see how these skills stacked up against rats living in different environments, right?
Exactly. They compared rats living in standard lab cages, you know, their usual living spaces, and they compared them to rats living in what scientists call enriched environments.
Now, when I hear enriched environment, I'm picturing tiny rat mansions, complete with mini fridges stocked with cheese. What does an enriched environment for a lab rat really look like?
Think of it more like a rat amusement park. These rats get more space to explore, interesting toys to play with, just a generally more stimulating and engaging environment than your average lab rat.
Okay, so we've got our standard rat drivers and our luxury rat drivers. Did those fancy digs translate into fancier driving skills?
You bet they did. The rats living in the enriched environments actually became much better drivers overall. They learned faster and were more consistent in their driving. It's like taking a quick spin around the track made them pros.
So we're saying a little environmental enrichment goes a long way, even when it comes to driving skills. It makes you wonder, does this mean if I redecorate my apartment, I'll magically become a better driver?
Haha. Well, I can't guarantee any miracles on the road for us humans. But it does highlight the impact of our surroundings on learning and cognitive abilities. Even in rats, these enriched rats showed better spatial awareness and problem-solving skills. Which makes sense, right? They had more opportunities to learn and explore in their environments.
Yeah, it's like they were out there cruising around their fancy cages, mapping out the best routes to the snack bar.
But here's the million-dollar question. Why are we teaching rats to drive in the first place? Is this just for laughs, or is there a bigger scientific purpose behind these rodent road trips?
You'd be surprised. As hilarious as it is to imagine a world with rats behind the wheel, there's actually a serious scientific reason behind all this.
All right, spill the beans. What's so special about these furry little drivers that has scientists so intrigued?
It all comes down to the brain.
Okay, so we're going from rats driving cars to brains. This is quite a detour.
Not really. Believe it or not, studying how rats learn to drive, as silly as it sounds, can actually teach us a lot about how our own brains work.
Wait, are you serious? How can watching a rat navigate a tiny car tell us anything about the complexities of the human brain? It's all about models. Scientists use all sorts of models in research, and sometimes rodents can be a surprisingly good stand-in for humans, especially when studying learning and brain function. They might be small, but their brains share some fundamental similarities with ours.
So by seeing which part of the rat brain lights up when they make a left turn, scientists can figure out how our own brains handle similar tasks.
You got it. It gives us a window into things like how we learn new skills, how our brains process spatial information, even how we make decisions.
This is mind-blowing. So these little rat drivers are basically contributing to the understanding of our own brains. That's incredible.
It is pretty remarkable, isn't it? And here's another thing to consider. This research isn't just about understanding what's going on inside our heads. It could have implications for things like developing new therapies or interventions for people with certain neurological conditions.
Now we're going from rat brains to potentially helping humans with neurological conditions. This is more than just a deep dive. This is a deep dive with a purpose.
Absolutely. While this particular research focused on learning and driving, the bigger picture is about understanding the brain's incredible capacity for change and adaptation. You know what scientists call that?
Neuroplasticity.
You got it. Neuroplasticity.
Okay, neuroplasticity.
Mhm.
So are you saying that by studying these rat drivers, researchers might be able to develop new ways to help people with conditions that affect the brain?
Exactly. Think about it. Imagine using these insights to help people regain motor skills after a stroke, or even find new ways to treat conditions like Parkinson's disease.
Wow, that is amazing. Who knew that these tiny furry drivers could potentially have such a huge impact on human health? That's really incredible when you think about it.
It is, isn't it?
Expert speaker, this deep dive has been a wild ride. We've gone from laughing at the thought of rats behind the wheel to talking about potentially groundbreaking brain research. What a journey.
I know, right? It just goes to show that sometimes the most unexpected research leads to the most fascinating discoveries.
It certainly does. And for you listening, keep this in mind. The next time you see a rat, don't just think of them as pesky critters. Think of them as tiny pioneers, paving the way for incredible scientific discoveries. This has been The Deep Dive, reminding you to never underestimate the power of a curious mind. Until next time.